Welcome to our character overview video for Blazblue Cross Tag Battle. I'm Doc Caesar, and in this first part, I'm going to give a quick overview of the Blazblue and RWBY roster. Hopefully by the end of this video, newcomers and people in character crisis can find the characters that fit them best. Let's get started. As the main character of the Blazblue series, Ragna the Blood Edge is a very fundamentals-based rushdown character. He has a solid set of normals and special moves that allow him to mix up and pressure his opponents. His 5A is a really solid button that is good as a poke or combo starter. Ragna has some good anti-air options with his quick 5B and reversal action, which is his old Infernal Divider special move. He is one of only 2 characters in the game that can steal health from his opponents, but its effects are somewhat offset by the universal red health regeneration of off-screen partners. Unfortunately, he lacks a true projectile, so he must rely on assists and good reads to push his way past long-range zoning. Ragna is a great pick for beginners looking to learn the basics of the game. As the archetypal Shoto of the Blazblue series, Jin is a jack-of-all-trades character with a tool for every situation. His normals have decent reach and are fairly fast. He has decent pressure and a deceptive overhead in his 5C. His best special move is probably his Snowflake. It's well worth the bar it costs as it provides him with good space control, pressure, and opens up many combo and setup opportunities. Jin's Toga distortion skill is one of the best super moves in the game. It's quick, covers nearly the entire screen, and does massive chip damage during resonance plays. In terms of support, Jin boasts arguably the best set of assists in the game, making him an excellent addition to any team. Noel is a fairly unique close-range rushdown fighter that utilizes invulnerability during her assault. Her former drive, Chain Revolver, returns as her B normal attacks and auto combos in this game. Once up close, her Chain Revolver attacks provide her with solid pressure and mix-up options. These attacks provide her with invulnerability to specific attributes while they are active. This can be very frustrating to deal with for players who lack the matchup knowledge. Despite having many invulnerable attacks, Noel cannot simply bully her way into close range. She lacks the normals to fight at mid-range or strong projectiles, so she needs her assist to help her close the gap. Rachel is a setup character that needs to establish her tools on the screen before she can really play her game. She has a good zoning game with her Lobelias and its extensions. One extension turns the Lobelias into bats that home in on the opponent while the other triggers them as lightning rods. Rachel has a unique ability to control the wind to change the trajectories of her projectiles or propel herself in multiple directions. Her wind manipulation allows her to perform tri-dash-esque mix-ups. At the cost of a bar of meter, she can place George on the screen to slowly chase down opponents. If successful, he inflicts massive hit stun or block stun on the opponent, allowing for easy pressure, mix-up, or combos. Rachel can easily use her zoning tools to mount her scary offense, which consists of some of the best pressure and mix-up in the game. Her 6P assist allows her to set up some Lobelias while covering airspace for her teammate. If you like frustrating opponents by filling the screen with objects to control space and set up scary mix-ups, then you should definitely consider adding Rachel to your team. Tager is the more traditional grappler of the cast. He is not very mobile but wants to get up close and personal to land his damaging mix-ups. He lacks all forms of a dash except for a backdash and also lacks a double jump. He somewhat mitigates the loss of mobility through a few forward advancing attacks and his magnetism. Just as it sounds, Tager's magnetism allows him to bring his opponents to him. With meter, Tager gains access to Spark Bolt, a very fast projectile that wall bounces the opponent for full screen combos. While his attacks are a bit slow, Tager is equipped with several invincible attacks and guard points on his 5B. If you like playing the traditional grappler role and devastating opponents with command grabs, Tager is the choice for you. Nu is a strong keep-away character that excels at controlling space and keeping her opponents on the other side of the screen. She primarily summons swords to use as projectiles that she can fire at many angles. The swords can easily convert into damage on hit and lock down the opponent on block from any range. While she is not a strong fighter up close, she does have good mix-up options. Act Parser can be used as a movement tool or another mix-up tool. And you will need to make good decisions when choosing the right zoning tool, or you could be open to punishment. She struggles to get heavy rushdown characters off of her once they get in, so maintaining your space is crucial. Nu should be a good pick for you if you are a fan of Gilgamesh from Fate Stay Night or just harassing your opponents from full screen with projectiles. Have you ever wanted to play as Spider-Man in a fighting game but Marvel vs. Capcom wasn't anime enough for you? Well, Hazama is the perfect character for you. Hazama is a hidden run style character with excellent mobility. With the exception of his 2B, his B normals all activate his Ouroboros chains. The first button press sends the chain out onto the screen, acting as a long range poke, while the second press launches Hazama through the air. He can zip around the screen pretty fast using his Ouroboros chains to approach or escape. As a trade-off for this mobility, Hazama can only perform a short dash instead of a run like most other characters on the ground. While the chains give him strong, long-range pokes, his normals up close are very lacking in range. Utilizing his stance mix-ups and command grab are key when up close to open up the opponent. He also packs a powerful distortion skill in his Hotenjin, which serves as a damaging reversal that your opponents will have to respect. Like Ragna, Makoto is also a fundamentals-based rushdown fighter, but with an emphasis on pressure and damage. Her 5A is a solid poke and her 5B is a reliable anti-air. Makoto has several attacks from her asteroid vision that grant her frame advantage on block. Unfortunately, half of them cost meter. Her mix-up is lacking as she only has one quick low attack and one grounded overhead, but she does gain some cross-ups with an assist. Her damage is good, so she can make her opponents pay for their mistakes during frame traps or neutral. She does have a projectile, but don't expect to enter a zoning war with it. It is better used as a counter projectile than a zoning tool. Makoto needs to rely on patient play rather than all-out aggression in order to be successful. Platinum is a well-rounded character that utilizes a wide variety of items to fight with. She can switch between zoning and rushdown quickly and has a good set of normals to play neutral and pressure with. Her projectiles are solid zoning tools and they cover good angles. For 1 bar of meter, she can use a special move that makes her invulnerable to everything besides throws. She is one of the few characters with an install super in this game. The install enhances the properties of her items by making them larger, increasing damage, and improving their juggle properties. Her 4P and 6P assists have Platinum use one of 3 items at random, which can make them somewhat risky calls. Her install super also enhances these assists, as well as giving the hammer assist and 5C and unblockable shockwave. If you like using characters that can seamlessly transition between rushdown and zoning, give Platinum a try. So I heard you like damage. Azrael embodies the powerhouse character archetype. When this character touches you, especially with a bar stop, you will watch your health bar and hopes evaporate. Despite all of the manly damage this character has, he does have his flaws. His neutral game is poor and his buttons tend to be slow. Azrael trades the traditional run with a teleport and dash as his ground movement. The teleport passes through opponents and is invincible for a short period. His best mix-up options are cross-ups with TK special moves out of his teleport. His unique mechanic is his weak points. These act as pseudo just frame inputs added onto certain attacks that enhance the properties of his moves. To help deal with zoning, he has Growler Field, which absorbs projectiles and sends back a projectile of its own. Azrael also has access to the powerful Blackhawk Stinger distortion skill that can plow through enemy attacks and cross the screen incredibly fast. Unfortunately, his assists are lackluster, but ask yourself if that really matters when you can make your opponents explode. S is another good all-around character, but leans towards zoning. Her normals have good range, especially her air normals, giving her a solid mid-range game. S's projectiles are very strong when used properly, allowing her to play a strong long-range game as well. She has multiple formations that she can shoot them in, and when they combine, they dominate other projectiles on the screen. She has a variety of mix-up tools between her multiple overheads, lows, and command grab. Unfortunately, the special overhead and the command grab are mostly combo filler because they are very risky to use for mix-up. Instead, her 5C and instant jump B are her primary overhead options. Her jump C grants her strong Oki after corner combos. S also benefits from having a solid set of distortion skills. She does suffer from having a lack of strong pressure, as she doesn't have many Gatling options or jump cancelable attacks on block. S deals good damage, but is somewhat reliant on assists to get it. Her own assists are very good, which helps her to synergize well with others and fit onto any team. As the original damage powerhouse of Blazblue, Hakumen excels at mid-range poking and dealing extremely high damage when he touches you. Rather than rush down opponents, Hakumen opts for a more defensive style where he zones his opponents with his great pokes and punishes predictable offense using his counters. Hakumen has several unique abilities to the game. The first is his ability to cancel special moves into other special moves at the cost of 1 bar of meter. The second is his ability to cut projectiles with his sword attacks and leave his own projectile on screen instead. The projectile will eat other projectiles while it is active, including super moves, and damages the opponents who come into contact with it. He has a very strong super move called Yukikaze that can counter strikes, throws, and projectiles. The trade-off for these strong tools is that he has slow attacks, poor mobility, and a large hurt box. His ground dash is just a short hop that can only be cancelled into special moves. Hakumen is a good pick for players that like the idea of being a tank that holds his ground in neutral and deals massive damage. Jubei is a mobile rushdown character that specializes in mix-ups. Jubei is unique in that his crouching animation leaves him in a standing state. He has quick but short-ranged attacks to utilize up close. He has a variety of mix-up tools, including a special move overhead and low that he can use to throw off his opponents and open them up. He requires an assist to convert most of his mix-ups into combos, but his combos tend to lead into good Oki situations. Jubei has a fast run and can cancel his backdash into a quick forward dash. By pressing forward twice, he can do a quick hop forward that can pass through opponents and projectiles. This opens up even more mix-up options when combined with an assist. His air movement special move is invulnerable while he is traveling, but leaves him vulnerable at the end, so be sure to call an assist when using it. Like most close-range rushdown characters, Jubei can struggle to get in against zoners and characters with strong normals. If you want a somewhat unorthodox mobile rushdown character, then consider picking up Jubei. RWBY has just about everything you could ask for in a character, which makes her a very popular pick right now. She has very strong normals that are difficult for many characters to challenge due to their combination of range and speed. RWBY also has strong pressure and good mix-up options, which include her instant air jump C overhead. If that wasn't enough, she also has pretty fast movement speed and 3 command dashes that have a hitbox at the start of the dashes. Using these, RWBY can quickly move forward or backwards, and depending on whether she is grounded or not, she can move in a 45-degree angle downward or upward. RWBY is capable of passing through her opponents with the command dashes, which gives her even more mix-up options. Her projectiles travel across the screen fast, but due to some lengthy recovery and the B version slow startup, she doesn't have a very strong zoning game. RWBY also makes a good partner as she has a very versatile set of assists. You can't go wrong if you pick up RWBY wanting an easy character to learn or a character that has nearly every tool in the game to succeed. Weiss is a mid-range poking character that wants to control space with her fairly long-range normals. Her 4A, 5A, 2B, and Jump A are all good pokes to keep rushdown and climbed opponents at bay. She has some unique special moves with her Ice Pillar and Ice Shard. The former summons an Ice Pillar that blocks opponents from passing through it. The pillars can absorb a few hits from attacks, however, they can be jumped or broken. The Ice Shard special move summons a glyph onto the screen that will shoot a projectile or leave a black glyph on the screen if the button is held. When her third special move, Glyph Dash Strike, is used near a black glyph, then she can cancel it into 1 of 3 follow-up attacks. Once set up, her glyphs can be used for decent OP setups. Glyph Dash Strike can also be feinted for some gimmicky pressure strings. Weiss is also equipped with a counter that she can combo off of, but it costs 1 bar of meter. Unfortunately, her projectile is very slow, and she lacks good overheads for mix-ups. Her assists are also underwhelming, so she doesn't provide much support. Mid-range zoning is Blake's forte. Her very long-range B attacks control space well, and she also has solid range on her A attacks too. Her B attacks have a unique mechanic where the move's properties change if you hit with the tip of her weapon. 2B gains more hit stun and damage, while 5B gains damage and floats the opponent. Landing tip hits are vital to many of her combos. Jump B will not hit an opponent unless the tip of the weapon comes into contact with them. Blake can create clones of herself that take on different properties depending on the button used. The A version is a stone clone that absorbs 1 hit. The B version is a shadow clone that spreads a mist capable of making Blake mostly invisible when hit by an opponent or her assist. The C version creates a fire clone at the cost of a bar meter, but when activated by an opponent or her assist, it explodes and launches the opponent into the air for a combo opportunity. Despite having such long-range normals, Blake is a tricky character to deal with up close due to her hard-to-see left-right mix-ups from her Duality Strike follow-ups. In addition, Blake offers great support to her team with her strong assists. She is a more technical character than most, but is very rewarding for your efforts. Yang is the rushdown focused fighter of the RWBY cast. She is primarily close range, as her normals generally lack the range to fight anywhere else. Her 5B and Burst of Embers special move have armor during the middle of their active frames, allowing her to absorb her opponent's attacks and continue her assault. Unfortunately, the armor will not absorb blows or projectiles. Yang's pressure is good, and she has a solid projectile that can be fired from the air or ground to disrupt zoning. Her mix-up options are a bit lacking despite having 2 command grabs. Like Azrael's Black Hawk Stinger, Yang's Burning Gold Distortion is a very powerful super that can be used to punish most attacks, even from full screen away. The biggest draw to using Yang is her semblance that causes her to enter an empowered state when her health reaches danger status. In this state, her punching attacks are all enhanced with an added projectile hitbox, extra hits, and more damage. Most of her special moves are also enhanced with more damage, and she can even combo off of her cold shoulder command grab. Her combo damage takes a huge leap when she is in power too. If you like close range fighters, installs that bring out your character's full power, and Dark Phoenix like mechanics, then you should try out Yang.